Reaching your 60s isn't about chasing more, it's about choosing what truly matters. This is the moment to reflect on habits, thoughts, and pressures that no longer serve you, and start letting go of what holds back your freedom, joy, and purpose. Here are 9 things to release. Stop saving out of fear. Stop spending on things that don't bring joy. Stop trading time for money if it no longer matters. Stop postponing experiences. Stop neglecting your health. Stop worrying about what others think. Stop consuming negative news. Stop ignoring your financial plan but don't obsess. And stop living like you have forever. Letting go doesn't mean giving up, it means creating space for happiness, connection, and meaningful living. Stop spending on things that don't bring you joy. After 60, spending money without thinking about what truly makes you happy can hold you back from enjoying life. Many people buy things out of habit, guilt, or obligation. Clothes that never get worn, gifts you feel pressured to give. Gadgets bought just because they're on sale, these rarely bring lasting happiness. Take Linda, for example. She used to spend thousands of dollars each year on things she barely touched. Then one year, she booked a spontaneous flight to visit her sister for her birthday, a $600 trip. That weekend was full of laughter, tears, and late-night conversations. For Linda, that short trip brought more joy than all the shopping she had done that year combined. The difference between meaningless spending and meaningful spending is simple. Meaningful spending aligns with your values. It could be traveling, supporting your grandchildren's education, weekly dinners with friends, or even buying a chair that actually makes your back feel better. Ask yourself, does this purchase truly bring me joy, or am I doing it out of habit, guilt, or pressure to impress someone else? Here's how to spend more intentionally. Identify what matters most. What do you truly value right now? Connection, adventure, comfort, learning, or something else? Direct your money toward those priorities. Every purchase should serve a purpose beyond just filling space or pleasing others. Appreciate the simple joys. Some of life's richest experiences don't come with a price tag, a handwritten note, a quiet walk outside, or a phone call to an old friend. A personal example, I used to buy fancy kitchen gadgets that mostly gathered dust. Then I decided to take a cooking class with friends. The skills I learned, the laughter, and the new friendships I gained were far more valuable than any gadget I had bought. Spending on experiences instead of things creates lasting joy. Ask yourself this question. If I could only spend on one thing this month that would truly make me happy, what would it be? Answering it helps break the cycle of meaningless purchases. Spending intentionally isn't just about money, it's about investing in joy and creating space in your life for what matters most. Once you master this, the next step is to look at how you spend your time, which leads naturally to the next principle. Stop trading your time for money when your time is worth more. Stop saving out of fear. After turning 60, saving too much can stop being wise and start holding you back from truly enjoying life. Many people spend decades building up their nest egg, only to live in constant fear of spending a dime. Take Susan, for example. She had saved nearly $2 million over 40 years. Her house was paid off, her retirement accounts were more than sufficient. Yet every time someone suggested a trip or a special dinner with friends, she hesitated. What if I need this money later? She would think. This is a common pattern. Even after the kids have grown, many women still let fear dictate their financial choices. The result, missing out on meaningful experiences and precious moments with loved ones. Another example is Michael, age 67. He had been careful with money his entire life. When his daughter invited him on a trip to Italy, he hesitated, worried about the cost. Eventually, he realized that if he didn't go now, he might regret it forever. The trip turned out to be one of the most memorable experiences of his life, not just for the sights, but because he finally faced and overcame his fear of spending. Here's how to break free from fear-based saving. Know your real needs. Make sure your essentials are covered, if they are. Allow yourself to spend on things that bring you joy. Budget smartly. Instead of hoarding money indefinitely, set aside funds for specific experiences, a trip, a special dinner, or a class you've always wanted to take. Value your time. Every dollar you spend today is an opportunity to create lasting memories. Not spending on experiences is essentially letting life pass you by. Ask yourself, if I don't spend this money on something meaningful, will I regret it? It's a simple but powerful way to separate money that serves your life from money that traps you in fear. Spending wisely isn't wasteful, it's an investment in your happiness, your memories, and yourself. Allowing yourself to live fully creates space for experiences that money alone can't buy. Once you understand how fear can control your spending, the next question is, if you're not spending out of fear, what should you spend on to truly feel fulfilled? That brings us to the second principle: stop spending on things that don't bring you joy. Stop trading time for money when it no longer matters. After 60, time is your most valuable currency. For decades, most of us have traded hours for dollars-long workdays, extra responsibilities, showing up even when exhausted. That was necessary to build a life, pay bills, and support family. Now it's time to ask, am I still working because it truly fulfills me or just because it's expected? Take Karen, a high school teacher. She kept teaching past 62 because the work gave her energy, purpose, and connection. When she finally retired at 67, it was a conscious choice, not pressure, a decision made with peace, not regret. Others, like Joan, 65, stay in jobs they no longer enjoy because they aren't sure who they'd be without that role. Sacrificing mornings, weekends, and personal projects just to earn money they don't need drains their joy. Ask yourself, am I working because I love it or because I'm afraid to stop? This question helps you see whether your time serves your life or controls it. Here's how to approach it. Work for purpose, not obligation. Keep going only if your job energizes and fulfills you. Take intentional breaks. Rest, explore hobbies, or travel without guilt. Prioritize experiences over income. Money can always be earned, time cannot. Each day lost is gone forever. A personal example. I continued consulting past 60 because it kept me engaged and connected. When a project stopped exciting me, I stopped, freeing myself to focus on a passion project, writing a book I'd always dreamed of completing. The freedom to choose was priceless. Consider this: if I had to choose between a paycheck and a meaningful day, which would I choose? Your answer can guide how you spend your most precious resource, time. When you stop trading time for money without purpose, you gain the freedom to pursue experiences that truly enrich your life. This naturally leads to the next principle: stop putting off the experiences you've always wanted. Stop putting off the experiences you've always wanted. After 60, it's easy to say, I'll do it someday. The problem is, someday often never comes. Waiting for the perfect moment can keep your dreams on hold indefinitely. Take Tom and Susan, a retired couple. They postponed their dream of driving across the country in an old Airstream trailer for years. Then a minor health scare made them realize the perfect moment would never just appear. 6 months later, they hit the road. The trip wasn't perfect, but it was unforgettable. Ask yourself, what is one thing I've been putting off and what's stopping me from doing it now? It could be a trip, a hobby, a class, reconnecting with a friend, or even writing a letter you've always meant to send. Here's how to start. Start small. Tiny steps matter. Book a weekend getaway, sign up for a class, or schedule a coffee with someone you miss. Forget perfect timing. Waiting for everything to line up usually means waiting forever. The perfect moment is now. Prioritize experiences. Focus on actions that make you feel alive, create memories, and bring real joy. A personal example: I always wanted to learn pottery but kept putting it off. One afternoon, I signed up for beginner's workshop. That single class sparked laughter, new friendships, and a sense of accomplishment I had been delaying for years. Consider this: if I only had this year to live, what experience would I finally say yes to? Answering that question helps break the cycle of procrastination and fear. Living the experiences you've always wanted, even in small ways, makes life richer, more vibrant, and full of possibility. It naturally leads to the next step: prioritizing your health, because without it, all experiences lose their value. Stop neglecting your health. After 60, health is your most important asset. Without it, money, experiences, and accomplishments lose their meaning. The real question isn't how many years you have left, but how many healthy, active years you can enjoy. Small, consistent actions make a huge difference. Linda, 64, started walking 20 minutes a day, swapped soda for water, and joined a light strength training class for seniors. Within months, her balance, energy, and mood improved. She could play with her grandchildren, take weekend trips, and wake up feeling energized instead of tired. Ask yourself, what's one small change I can make today to improve my health? It could be walking around the block, cooking a healthy meal, or scheduling a doctor's checkup. Here's how to approach it. Regular checkups. Stay on top of medical appointments and screenings. Catching small issues early prevents bigger problems down the road. Move your body. Gentle exercise, walking, stretching, yoga, or light strength training keeps you mobile, energized, and independent. Fuel your body right. Choose foods that give you energy and strength. Simple swaps like more vegetables, water, and balanced meals can completely change how you feel. A personal example, I started taking a 15-minute walk each morning. That small habit boosted my mood, improved my posture, and gave me mental clarity. Later, I added light resistance exercises to strengthen my back and stay agile. These small, consistent steps created momentum and improved every part of my daily life. Consider this. Am I treating my body like the most important investment I'll ever make? Your answer will guide how you spend your time, energy, and resources. Prioritizing your health sets the foundation for everything else. Enjoying experiences, pursuing passions, and connecting with loved ones. Once your body is strong, it's easier to move on to the next principle. Stop worrying about what others think, because when you feel confident, outside opinions matter far less. Stop worrying about what others think. After 60, stop living according to other people's expectations. You have the right to live authentically, make your own choices, and prioritize your own happiness. Margaret, 65, always wanted to take a painting class but hesitated, worried about what others might think. She finally signed up and discovered joy, self-expression, and new friendships. It didn't matter that she wasn't perfect. What mattered was giving herself permission to do something for herself. Ask yourself, what's holding me back from living the life I truly want because of what others might think? Maybe it's taking a solo trip, saying no to draining events, wearing bold colors, or finally pursuing a long-held hobby. Here's how to approach it. Follow your passion. Start the hobby, class, or activity that excites you. Set boundaries. Saying no is a way to protect your energy and priorities. Express yourself. Wear what makes you feel confident, travel where you want, and live in a way that feels true to you. A personal example, I started dance classes at 62. At first, I worried about being judged for my skill level. Within weeks, I was laughing, moving freely, and feeling more confident than I had in years. Letting go of fear about others' opinions opened doors to joy I didn't realize I was missing. Consider this. If I stopped worrying about what people think, what would I finally do? Your answer reveals opportunities you've been holding back from. Living authentically after 60 is empowering. Releasing the need for approval naturally leads to the next principle. Stop consuming negativity from the outside world, because your energy is too valuable to spend on fear and worry. Stop consuming negative news. After 60, your attention is one of your most valuable resources. Staying informed is important, but there's a big difference between staying updated and letting the news control your energy and mood. Constant exposure to negative stories fuels stress, anxiety, and a sense of helplessness. Karen, 67, used to watch 3 hours of cable news every evening. She felt drained, anxious, and pessimistic. Once she cut back to 15 minutes a day and focused on selective, reliable sources, she noticed a huge shift. Her mood lifted, she felt lighter, and she had more energy for the things that mattered to her. Ask yourself, am I consuming information that empowers me or information that drains me? Here's how to handle it. Be selective. Stick to news sources that provide facts without fear-mongering. Set boundaries. Limit daily news consumption and avoid endless social media scrolling. Focus on what you can control. Direct your energy toward actions that improve your life and your community. A personal example, I switched from hours of evening news to a single daily news summary, then used the extra time for a walk or journaling. This simple change reduced stress and made me feel more present and optimistic. Consider this, if I stopped letting negative news consume me, what could I do with that extra energy? The answer often leads to meaningful experiences, hobbies, or quality time with loved ones. Taking control of your attention naturally leads to the next principle. Stop obsessing over your finances, because a solid financial plan should support your life, not dominate it. Stop ignoring your financial plan, but don't obsess over it. After 60, managing your finances is essential, but obsessing over every dollar can steal the joy out of life. Your financial plan should support the life you want, not control it. It's about striking a balance between awareness and freedom. John, 68, had a strong retirement account but rarely traveled, bought gifts, or enjoyed experiences because he constantly worried about future risks. When he started using his money intentionally for travel, family experiences, and hobbies, he felt liberated and more fulfilled. Ask yourself, am I using my money to build a life I love, or am I letting fear dictate my choices? Here's how to approach it. Create a clear plan. Know your income, expenses, and potential future needs. Check in, don't obsess. Monitor your accounts and adjust as needed, but don't let spreadsheets control your life. Use money intentionally. Spend on experiences, health, relationships, and things that bring real joy. Linda, 66, was afraid to spend on anything beyond necessities. Once she developed a financial plan that balanced security with intentional spending, she started traveling, taking classes, and enjoying family gatherings. She felt more joyful and free, proving that planning doesn't mean denying life's pleasures. Consider this. If I stopped letting money fears control me, how would I use my resources to live fully today? The answer usually points to experiences, connection, and meaningful action rather than endless worry. Mastering this balance naturally leads to the final principle. Stop living like you have forever, because understanding the true value of time changes how you spend both your energy and money. Stop living like you have forever. After 60, it's crucial to accept that life is limited. Understanding your time is finite changes how you spend your energy, attention, and resources. Too often, people put off experiences, relationships, and personal goals, assuming there will always be more time. Ask yourself, if I only had 1 year left, what would I do differently? This question exposes your true priorities, hidden desires, and opportunities for meaningful action. Susan, 72, always dreamed of traveling across Europe but kept postponing it. When a close friend faced a serious health issue, she realized someday might never come. She booked her trip, visited the places she had longed to see, and returned with some of the most cherished memories of her life. Here's how to take action. Go after postponed dreams. Start today, even with small steps. Express love and gratitude. Reach out to friends and family, say I love you, or mend unresolved relationships. Create meaningful experiences. Focus on moments that bring joy, connection, and lasting memories. Margaret, 68, always wanted to learn painting but thought it was too late. She joined a weekly class and discovered not only a talent but also a deep sense of fulfillment and community. Ask yourself, what have I been putting off that would bring me joy, connection, or meaning if I started today? Recognizing life's limits encourages intentional living. Every choice, from how you spend your money to how you allocate your time, becomes deliberate and meaningful. Acting today without waiting for perfection or permission transforms ordinary days into moments full of purpose, connection, and joy. Try taking at least one step today. What are you ready to let go of so you can live more fully? Remember, age is not a barrier. Enjoy life, do what you love, take care of your health, make meaningful memories, and live authentically.